Okay, welcome to chapter 2.2. We're talking about circles today and the basic equation of a circle. And that equation can be found here in bold. You can see that it is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where r is the radius and hk is the center. Now that's called the center radius form of the circle. And it comes from the distance formula because what is the distance formula? Well, it's the measurement of the distance between 2 points, and a circle is all of the points that are the same distance from a single point. So we fix one of the points at hk, the center, and we say every x and y that satisfies this distance is going to make a circle. Okay. And so the equation is fairly simple and easy to work with. And so what we'll do is we'll start by taking the information that they've given us with the center and radius and try to put that in the equation. So be wary that the sign flips when we write it in the equation, but otherwise it's a pretty simple process. So for example, part A, the center is at negative 3, 4. So we're going to have x plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared is equal to 6 squared. And then of course we can kind of simplify this down a little bit, and we'd get x plus 3 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 36. And that would probably be the most accurate circle equation using that center radius form. Okay, now the second one asks us, what about if the circle has a radius of 3, but the center is at 0, 0 at the origin? Well, all we have to do is basically, we'd have something like x plus 0 squared plus y plus 0 squared equals 3 squared. And when we clean this up, it becomes very simply x squared plus y squared is equal to 9. And that is the circle with the center at the origin, 0, 0, with a radius of 3. Okay, let's take a look at example 2 where we're going to talk about the graphs of circles. And the easiest way to graph them is, of course, using the center and radius, which come from the center radius form. So remember, the sign is always flipped from the equation for that center. So we're going to see that our center is negative 3, positive 4. And let's go ahead and mark that on here, negative 3, positive 4 right there. Okay, now key thing to note, that's not actually a point on our graph, it's just a marker showing where the center is. Okay, and then the radius is going to be 6 in this case because 36 is r squared. And so we take the square root and we get 6. Now let's go ahead and draw this on our graph, and what we're going to do is we're going to see that I'm going to mark 6 spaces in each direction. So 6 to the right will put me at 3. 6 to the left is going to put me at negative 9. Then 6 up is at positive 10, and then that 6 down is going to be at negative 2. So now that I've got these 4 points, we can kind of play a connect the dots game to draw a circle. And my ability to draw is kind of limited, and so what you will see is this lovely rendering of a circle made by a program. Okay, so generally you connect the dots around, make a circle, go in each of the 4 directions makes it pretty easy to draw on paper. Okay, so similar idea for example B, and this time the circle has a center at the origin, 0, 0. And my radius this time, hopefully you've already guessed it at this point, is going to be 3. So let's go ahead and make our mark at the center. So in the center, 0, 0, and each step is going to be 3 spaces away. So 3 spaces right, 3 spaces left, 3 spaces up, 3 spaces down. And we can, of course, create our circle on here. And basically you just connect those dots with some nice curves, and you've got a circle. Okay, in this next example, we're going to take another form of the circle equation, which is the general form, which is essentially the center radius form multiplied out and put equal to 0. But we're going to take that and use completing the square to take us back into the center radius form. And we can use the center radius form to more easily evaluate the circle. So let's go ahead and go down to this example. And we've got x squared minus 6x, and I'm going to leave a blank here, plus y squared plus 10y plus another blank. And we're going to go ahead and say that equals negative 18. So I'm starting by moving this last term over. And from here, what we can do is now we're going to fill in these blanks. So we're going to have negative 6 divided by 2, and we're going to square that, and that's going to give me 9. And on the other side, we are going to have 10y, so 10 divided by 2 squared, which will give me 25. And so with these now, we are going to have created two complete groups, but remember, we've got to also add these onto this side, so plus 25 and plus 9, okay? And we've created these two complete groups, which factor into perfect squares. So you may remember, it's also going to be the same as this negative 6 divided by 2. So x minus 3 squared plus y plus 5, because 10 divided by 2. And that's going to equal negative 18 plus 25 plus 9 will be 16. Okay, and from here, let's find our center and radius. The center is, of course, again, watch out for the sign flips, 3 comma negative 5. Okay, and my radius, 16 is the radius squared, so this is going to be 4. Okay, on example 2.4, you're going to see that we're doing another completing the square, and this time what they've done is they've already moved that last number over for us. However, these have 2x squared and 2y squared, which is not really good for completing the square. So what we're going to lead by doing is actually dividing the entire equation by 2, and you'll see that you get something like this, x squared plus y squared minus 3x plus 5y equals 1/2. And now we're ready to kind of do the same process. So again, I'm just going to bundle my x terms together, x squared minus 3x plus a blank, and plus y squared plus 5y plus blank equals to 1/2. And now filling in the blanks, again, we're going to take these singular terms, negative 3, divide them by 2, and square them. So in this case, we're going to get 9 divided by 4 when we square it. And same with the y, we're going to do the same exact thing in the y term. We're going to take that 5 divided by 2 squared is going to give me 25 over 4. And once again, don't forget to add them on the right-hand side as well. So we're going to have plus 9 over 4 here, and we're going to also have that 25 over 4. Okay, and even though these look kind of ugly, these do factor nicely, okay? They will always end up becoming this number right here, okay? So it's going to be x and still minus 3 over 2 squared, okay, plus y, and then we've got 5 over 2. And this one's plus because it follows the same sign that we already had there. And while the right-hand side looks kind of crazy, you end up just getting 9 as the answer for that. Okay, so these three actually add up to 9. And now we can kind of again pull that circle, the center radius form from this. And so we can say the center is at 3 over 2 comma negative 5 over 2. That is my center. And then of course my radius will be 3. Okay, so what you can see is the center is pretty easy to pull from here, even though they are fractions. And on the right-hand side, it ended up working out nicely that the numbers added up to a nice square. Okay, so determining whether a graph is a point, non-existent, or a circle. So basically, we're going to follow kind of the same process and complete the square to get us into a better form. And once we're there, we'll be able to understand whether the circle exists or it's just a point or doesn't exist at all. Okay, so first thing, same kind of form, x squared plus 10x plus blank plus y squared minus 4y plus blank equals negative 33. Okay, and so we'll complete the square again. 10 over 2 squared is going to be 25. We'll add 25 here. And we're going to get negative 4 divided by 2 and square that. And so we get 4 and 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and factor these down. So here I've got x plus 5, that's squared, plus y minus 2 squared equals negative 4. And immediately I'm hoping alarm bells went off in your brain when you heard me say that, because negative 4 cannot be r squared. That makes no sense. And so having this negative here just means that this is a non-existent value. And if this was equal to 0, then we would be able to say that it is a single point. So if r squared equals 0, then it's a point. So if you get r squared is a positive number, it's a circle. A negative number, it doesn't exist. And if it's 0, then it turns out to be a point. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Happy studying, and good luck with your homework.